Hey everyone, this is Brian, and welcome to the fifth key, generating ideas. This key is important because case interviewers want to assess your curiosity, your creativity, and your overall ability to think on your feet. Again, you're watching the fifth key in this 7-part video series. As a reminder, I've created videos that deep dive on each and every key. So let's get started on key number 5, generating ideas. In this workshop, you're going to learn 3 topics. First, you'll learn the mistakes and pitfalls that many candidates make so you'll know what to watch out for as you practice. Second, I'm going to teach you 3 strategies on how to be great at generating ideas. That shows the case interviewer you're creative, you're curious, and you can think on your feet. And third, you'll learn the exact difference between good versus great, so you'll know precisely how to get a great score, not just a good score. Having interviewed hundreds of candidates, I found that they typically make 3 types of mistakes in generating ideas. The number one most common mistake candidates make is not using a structure to help them thinking about ideas and options. It's hard to think on your feet and generate multiple ideas when you don't give yourself a framework for doing so. The second most common mistake is stopping short at just a few ideas. You need to differentiate yourself by having more relevant ideas. And the last common mistake is not highlighting some important key trade-offs or implications if you mention an idea. You don't want to just throw out an idea without having any considerations or thoughts about it. Now, let's talk about the 3 strategies on how to be great at generating ideas. And hang tight because we're going to go into a lot of detail on each of these strategies in the next slides. First, you need to use a relevant structure to help you generate ideas. Second, you need to realize that you often have to have a handful of ideas. Don't just stop at 1 or 2. And third, you need to think about the trade-offs, the considerations, or the key implications of an idea. So let's discuss the first strategy, using a relevant structure to help you generate ideas. Here are some common example structures that might help. Anything that's marketing or growth related could benefit from using the 4 P's plus S: product, pricing, placement, promotions, and then the often forgot about service. Now, if you're asked about factors that we should consider in doing anything, whatever that case context might be, a simple pro versus con framework could serve you well. If you need to fill in gaps in, say, capabilities, consider using the framework build versus buy versus partner. And lastly, if you're stuck and you just need a catch-all framework to use, thinking in terms of people, process, and technology could help. Now, let's discuss the second strategy, generating more ideas but making sure they're relevant. First, you need to leverage a framework or structure to help you generate ideas. This will help you immensely in coming up with more ideas. Second, you need to make sure that what you're coming up with is somewhat relevant to the case situation. Don't just throw a wild thing out there to make it seem like you're creative. You need it to be relevant, and again, remember to mention the implications or risks or considerations associated with whatever idea you throw out there. And third, push yourself for a handful. Many people make the mistake of stopping short. You want to aim for more relevant ideas. Now, let's discuss the last strategy, which is considering the trade-offs, the risks, the implications of an idea. First, remember to always be thinking about these pros or cons or trade-offs, risks, implications, whatever you call it. You need to remind yourself to consider these things after you just list an idea. Second, put yourself in the client's shoes and try to live the problem. This will help you a lot in coming up with that key risk or consideration to talk about. And third, remember to always think about these trade-offs and considerations. I know this is repetitive, but again, don't just list an idea without having anything more to say after it. You want to talk about that key risk or thing to think about. Now that you have the 3 strategies of how to be great at generating ideas, it's very important that you understand the difference between good versus great performance on this dimension. One of the best ways to do this is to actually hear and see examples of good versus great performance across several different cases. And it's even more powerful if you actually practice alongside me in an interactive way. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about next. So now that you've learned how to be great at generating ideas, you actually need to practice being great at generating ideas. In my Practice Case Interviews with Me program, you're going to get several cases where you'll actually practice the case alongside me. I'm going to give you the case prompts and questions, and you're going to respond just like you would in the real world. Then, we're going to pause after each key, like generating ideas, and you're going to see and hear the answer. One showing a good performance and another showing a great performance. I'm going to help you objectively score yourself just like a case interviewer would on each of the keys. So at the end of the case, you can see if you'd actually pass the interview in the real world and know exactly the areas you need to focus on to get the offer. With that said, I look forward to seeing you in key number 6, delivering a recommendation.